Hi hearties, welcome back. We are in the second half of episode 9 of season 9. I apologize for any confusion on the last video. The first copy of the last video, I posted it, everything was fine until Hallmark decided not to approve it because there was one scene between Nathan and May that I just kept playing until the end instead of breaking into multiple parts of that long scene. Instead of getting in trouble, I deleted it and switched some things around and tried my best to keep the content the same as the first copy. So what you see now for part 1 of episode 9 is actually the new version. I hope you still enjoyed it. Thank you for those who commented and supported and gave a thumbs up on it. I appreciate it. Going forward, for the last 3 episodes of season 9, I'll be a little bit more careful and most likely have to keep in mind when it comes to long scene, I have to break it down even more. I'll do my best. Yeah, it was very frustrating because that's a lot of work to edit and move things around, but I got it done. I think it's still good. We are in the second half of episode 9 and we should get started with this scene.
Well, I'm okay. Everything's fine. I signed the deed to the saloon over Walden, and he thinks I've driven out of town.
Were you followed?
No, I don't think so. When I circled around and the car is parked out of sight.
It's really nice that Bill is helping Lucas and Elizabeth, and I always thought that was a good idea of Elizabeth recommending to Lucas, hey, you should talk to Bill, we can't do this alone. You can't do this by yourself. This is a serious situation.
What if this whole plan of putting on an act for Walden to try to have him arrested doesn't work?
I just don't see that we have a choice. But we're better off already.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Because I get to stay here, out of sight with you, make sure nothing happens to you or my little buddy.
That is better.
It is better.
Of course, Elizabeth is worried. The safety of her, little Jack, and Lucas are in the front of her mind. And now we get to see Lucas spend a birthday dinner for Elizabeth at her house, and it looks like they're going to stay overnight together at her house. It's really a good idea that Lucas is also there for the night, just in case if anything happens. Kudos to her for sticking up for Lucas and for being there to support him and just not to abandon him in this situation. That takes a lot of courage for a woman, a girlfriend, to stick by his side throughout this situation.
A nice quiet birthday, just the two of us.
Mama, is it morning?
Just the 3 of us. Why don't you go get that boy who sounds very much awake, and I'll start making us dinner.
Almost forgot to say, Lucas, he called little Jack my buddy. It's really nice to see this relationship blossom between Lucas and little Jack in season 9. He could have ignore little Jack, but he invited this little boy to come join them for Elizabeth's birthday dinner. The original plan was supposed to be just for Lucas and Elizabeth over this romantic, intimate, homemade meal, but he didn't mind little Jack interrupting the original plan. And Lucas is cooking. He is prepping a birthday dinner for Elizabeth. I really like that. That's romantic in my opinion. When a guy cooks a homemade meal.
Are you saying that?
Just for tonight?
Just for tonight?
Yes, while we play hide and seek. Which is why we have all the lights down low. And we're being very, very quiet.
I'm going to go upstairs and get you a pillow and a blanket for the couch.
Can he sleep in my room?
I don't think so. You two would keep each other up all night, and you need your sleep.
Hey, buddy, do you want to help me with a surprise?
For Mom? Okay.
Well, all right. Let's go. Come here.
This is getting really, really cute as the episode goes on with this overnight stay of Lucas at Elizabeth's house, the family of three eating dinner together at the dinner table. Little Jack is excited for Lucas to stay overnight, and he's like, just for tonight, can you sleep in my room? That shows the strong bond that he has with Lucas, that father-son relationship, and they're so comfortable with each other. It's really adorable seeing little Jack grow up this season and talking more and interacting more, and it brings so much more energy and joy to each scene that little Jack is in. Also, like, Elizabeth is still the mom of little Jack. Like, even though Lucas probably doesn't mind little Jack sleeping together with him, Elizabeth still have that authority, like, hey kid, like, you still need to sleep in your own bed, you still need to go to bed, like, right now you cannot stay awake too late with us, like, you need to go to bed. But then Lucas like, hey, like, do you want to help me with a surprise? And little Jack like, is it for mom? It's really nice what Lucas is about to do with little Jack in the next scene. It shows how much Lucas acknowledges little Jack in Lucas' relationship to Elizabeth.
Your cake.
It's a surprise for Mom.
Mom, surprise you.
You may reveal yourself. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mama. Happy birthday to you.
A happy birthday performance by Jack and Lucas. It's so sweet. And Lucas, his personality, I think he can sing. I think he just doesn't want to admit it. I think he can sing, like, you know, average level. He just gotta show it. Like, I know there's something inside of him. They did great in singing that happy birthday song to Elizabeth. The way that Elizabeth looked over to her son and Lucas, I can just see her just being really happy in that moment and just picturing the future that they have together as a family.
Thank you.
Blow the candle.
Oh.
Can you eat it now?
Yes, we can. Why don't you have a bite? Go ahead. Is it good?
Yeah, me.
In conclusion of this scene, on top of what I just said, I want to add in, like, when Elizabeth's husband Jack died, it was heartbreaking. It was like, am I gonna find love again? Am I gonna be happy again? How can I live? How can I move forward without Jack? And we can relate to that in real life, and it's just a matter of, like, do you want to keep going? Like, do you want to give up and, you know, just be sad for the rest of your life? Like, are you gonna be happy again? And Elizabeth found happiness again. She found love again with Lucas, and this scene represents that, like, the second chance of life, a second chance at love and finding love again with someone new. And it's just a full circle moment for Elizabeth.
Hi.
Perhaps another time.
I look forward to it.
Well, you're out late.
House calls. I heard Lucas is selling the Queen of Hearts. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's one word for it.
This is the moment that I want to talk about in regard to Nathan's love life. Faith, out of nowhere, stumbled upon Nathan and Julius from the Pinkerton. Nighttime, and I guess Faith kind of like saved Nathan's butt in that moment. Like, if she wasn't there, Nathan would have to deal with Julius.
How are you? With May leaving.
Well, right now I'm just more concerned for her safety, really.
She'll be back.
Thanks.
A smooth progression into the beginning of the conversation and talking about Lucas selling the saloon and all that, and Nathan like, yeah, you know, like it is what it is. Faith then changed the subject to May, and she's like, she will be back, like, in a way of like supporting Nathan, like, you know, don't be too sad, like, I'm pretty sure she'll come back, like, the way you guys end things is not like as bad as Carson and I did. It was very nice of Faith to be encouraging to Nathan, like, don't worry about it, like, she'll come back.
I guess it's different for you when Carson left town. You were ready to get married.
Carson might have been ready, but you are assuming my response.
You didn't want to get married?
Wasn't ready. I'm still not ready.
I can tell you it is not on the top of my to-do list right now.
That is the first time I've heard somebody refer to marriage as being on a to-do list.
Comparing Nathan, May versus Faith and Carson, and really interesting how Faith opened up about Carson to Nathan. I think they had like a solid foundation of friendship, Nathan and Faith, but I never really see them as like really close friends. So it was interesting for me to hear Faith open up about Carson and how things ended between her and Carson, and how Carson was more ready to marry her than she was ready to marry him. It was a bit of shock for Nathan, and somehow, some way, they found like a mutual interest, like Nathan not ready to get married right now, and Faith definitely not ready to get married. And Nathan, of course, he put in his own sense of humor, like, it's not on top of my to-do list. And the way Faith laughed, I'm just like, okay, maybe this is the start of something. And the way that they don't want to get married right now, to me, it's just like, okay, maybe this is the couple, like, maybe Nathan and Faith is the real deal. Maybe she's the one for him. So this scene on top of the other scene between Molly and Florence, and I'm just like, okay, maybe there's something else that the writers planned.
Care to discuss that over a dish of ice cream?
I think we're out of luck.
Not when you have the keys.
They continued the conversation at the ice cream shop. So I wonder what happened in there. Like, what did they talk about, you know? They had this, like, quiet secret hangout, and everyone else is at the saloon or at home. Before we go on, I apologize if I pronounce your name wrong. I do want to give a shout out to you, Effie Waters. I look forward to your reviews. I love your comments and showing the scene before you comment on this. I think Faith and Nathan will become a couple, and May will show up later. Thank you, Effie, for your comment on the first copy of the last video. Before I deleted it, I actually took a screenshot of the first two comments before I deleted it. Yeah, I think with this scene now, like what we're talking about right now, I think it's a strong possibility that Faith and Nathan will be together, and I wouldn't be surprised either if May show up unexpectedly at the end of the season or in season 10. This show is never shy away from drama, so I wouldn't be surprised if May do show up again in the future of this show.
Whenever there was a thunderstorm, my sisters and I would race down the hall and jump into our parents' bed.
All five of you?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds fairly crowded.
Well, it was. And made even more so by our two bull mastiffs who were right there with us.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Elizabeth sharing more childhood stories with Lucas. I think that's very sweet of her and very heartwarming and very open in doing that. And I keep thinking of like Elizabeth's upbringing is much different from Lucas' upbringing. I assume Lucas doesn't have a sibling, he's the only child. So watching this scene unfold when I watched it on Sunday night, I'm like, wait, like Elizabeth's childhood is so much different from Lucas' childhood. Like, I'm not saying that in like a bad way, 100%, but it just like had that realization, like she telling these stories about her childhood, and Lucas, he's like all over the place when he was a kid. He traveled a lot, he moved to different places, met so many people, and he really did have like that stability of a lifestyle, a family lifestyle when he was growing up compared to Elizabeth.
Look, it's as nice as it is having you here. What if this plan of Bill's goes wrong?
We'll have to cross that bridge if we come to it. But either way, I'm gonna be here. Make sure nothing happens to you or Jack.
I know you will.
Elizabeth is still worried. Lucas assured her once again, like, I'm here, I'm not gonna leave you and little Jack, like, unprotected. Like, I'm here to protect you two. Like, it's my responsibility as your boyfriend and as a guardian to little Jack. It's really nice that Elizabeth have Lucas, not only as a boyfriend, but as a male protector, like, if anything happens. Elizabeth trusts Lucas, she really does, and she's like, we in this together, like, you and me, be together in this situation, and whatever happens, happen.
Tell me more about growing up.
You tell me.
No.
You must have at least some of the same kind of memories.
Well, when it came to that kind of family time, once I went to bed for the night, I was expected to keep myself busy until morning. I would read until late. It's fine.
This part is related to what I said a few minutes ago. Lucas, the only child, he had a really lonely childhood. He really didn't have like anyone to hang out with, like a sibling. He moved around a lot, and you can see he really didn't want to share a story with her. I think part of him, he felt a little bit ashamed. The other part of him, he just like, it didn't really bring him like joy. If you bring up a memory from his childhood, like, he's not happy to share that. He's not comfortable or not be able to easily share that with Elizabeth. Like, she had to like nudge him a little bit, like, come on, like, you gotta tell me something.
One day I hope we might have the kind of life you've always wanted.
This is the kind of life I've always wanted.
This is the future that Lucas wants. He wants what he has now, and that's one of the reasons why he's in a relationship with Elizabeth. Like, he sees the future that he wants with her and little Jack, and I assume they will have another kid. Especially like if you like the only child, I would guess like if you marry someone, I would assume that most likely you will have at least 2 kids, because I think being an only child, I think is challenging at times. Like, you by yourself, you don't have a sibling to share secrets with or play with. You only just have your parents. That's my opinion in general, but I think Lucas is ready for this future that he already has with Elizabeth. Like, this overnight stay, this is actually the future that he's gonna have with Elizabeth. Pretty sure he will want little Jack to have a sibling, because he went through that. He's like, I don't want little Jack to be the only child, and I want him to have that bond, that friendship with a sister or with a brother, and have that relationship grow over time.
Would you please carry Jack to bed while I make up the couch for you?
I'd love to.
I would love to. Again, Lucas adores little Jack, and they have a special relationship, and I can't wait to see that blossom over the rest of the season and in season 10. It's really sweet. He carried him upstairs and he held him close to his chest, and it's just very hands-on. I really, really like that about Lucas, and the way that Elizabeth peered over to them walking upstairs to Jack's bedroom. Again, it's a picture of her future. Like, she's like, I'm happy, I'm loving what I'm seeing right now. Like, I want this. Like, I am ready to get engaged and marry him when the right time comes. Like, this is what I want.
I'm with you, buddy.
Oh, hi.
Lucas, are you all right?
Yes, I'm fine.
Say you're sorry.
Star, bud.
That's all right. I know you wouldn't try and hurt me, would you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Before we move on, I want to talk an interesting topic, controversial maybe, but for me, for myself, this show has a lot of good values, a good foundation, and I really like how Lucas and Elizabeth respect one another in the way that Lucas sleeps on the house. She made that house as comfortable as she can for him to sleep overnight. They're not married, you know, like they're dating, and it's nice that they respect each other and that there is a invisible boundary line between the two, like do not cross that line until we get married. I really like that. I don't know if anyone thinks of that. It's a good value to have. I know not everyone agree to that, but for me, it's important, and I think it's a very honorable and respectful thing to do. Like, you know, it's not always about the physical attraction of a relationship. It's more than that, and I really like how Lucas respects that, and he decided to sleep on the house. Like, you know, he doesn't force her to sleep together while they're dating. But Lucas is not that guy, but it's just, in general, again, I'm overthinking, but, you know, it's real life, you know? Like, this show, you can relate to real life, and, I think one of those things where it's very rare in today's society, and I think it's important to acknowledge that in this scene.
I find this ironic that I'm defending Lucas here, but why would he show Walden a bunch of illegal gambling books of some folks in Louisiana?
I can only imagine that he was trying to gain Walden's trust, just like I'd been doing.
Remember when Nathan and Lucas did not like each other in season 6? Well, mostly on Nathan. But now Nathan is like defending Lucas, like, hey Bill, like maybe Lucas didn't do anything wrong. Like, I don't think Lucas is in the wrong side of this situation.
You all right?
Not quite.
Now tell me about this French-speaking contact you had at the Treasury.
Jeanette Auquois. We've been friends since my days in New Orleans.
It's true. Lucas told me about Miss Auquois. What is going on?
Well, Walden has told Bill that I wasn't actually working with him. In fact, I was working with folks from Louisiana, and I've kept records of all these illegal activities hidden in my office.
So we get to learn more about Lucas' friend from Louisiana. If you remember a few episodes ago, Elizabeth walked into Lucas' office in the middle of his phone call to his friend, and he was like raising his voice and getting angry.
Believe Walden?
I'm simply trying to build a case against Walden. Now, how do I get a hold of this Miss Auquois?
I don't know, Bill. I haven't been able to reach her since I initially contacted her about Walden.
Things are not sounding good about her. I hope she doesn't get killed or get taken into hostage. I hope she's okay. I hope she's safe.
Bill. The books Walden told you about. Right where he said they'd be.
I hope Bill and Nathan are on Lucas' side. The looks on their faces at the end of this episode, I'm like, that doesn't look good. I think Nathan will support Lucas, but I feel like Bill will have a hard time to trust Lucas. I don't know, because from season 6 up to now, like, Lucas had to work his way up in gaining trust from people in Hope Valley, especially how he came into town and no one knew who he was, and the bad story that was going on about Lucas. Like, he's a bad guy, like, he's not someone to trust. But now in season 9, you're like, everything's good with Lucas, and oop, another obstacle comes into light, and you're like, should we trust Lucas or Walden, you know? And we all know, the audience, like, we on Lucas' side. Elizabeth is like the only one that trusts Lucas 100%. And I think Nathan will trust Lucas just because Nathan trusts Elizabeth instinct. But I feel like Bill would be like, this is a really tough situation for Lucas, and I feel bad for him. Like, this is like season 6 all over again, but on a bigger level. And that leads to my Teacup question of the day. When do you think Walden put those ledgers, those books inside Lucas' office? Let me know. On to episode 10, which will be up next week. Wednesday, the earliest it should be up. Thank you for your support and your thumbs up and your questions and answers and comments, prediction. Thank you for all your support, guys. It has been a joy to be on the season 9 adventure with you. 3 more episodes to go. Episode 10, 11, and 12. Crazy, the end is almost near, and that means my birthday is around the corner, May 30th. I never thought I would do this in a million years, but this is a new passion of mine, and I enjoy it, and I met a lot of nice people on YouTube and Twitter talking about this Teacup trail, and I'm usually shy and quiet if you meet me in person. Like, I'm usually really quiet, very reserved, but once you get to know me, I'm louder. Again, it's been a joy to do this with you, and I hope you come back next week for episode 10. Hope you're having a good day, a good night, wherever you are. Have a blessed weekend. Bye.